Hello, YouTubers. As you know, this Don Imus thing recently is back in the news, and it's really irate and pissing me off, because, you see Reverend Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson back in the spotlight again, these thug gangsters, who are members of the NAACP, and also probably remember just like, the opposite of the KKK and stuff that's existed for years. But, what I was going to say is basically what it is the NCAAP is the opposite totally of their agenda of pushing affirmative action through on everything is opposite of the KKK basically. So they want to suppress white people. And what's going on is there's a war coming out between Christianity and Islam and all the religions of the war. I saw a report on CBS last night. I'm going to get to this in my next room report because this is really big and really an end-time events. But of course, in the news, they've talked a lot too about Israel and Iran recently and how they want to go to war. But I told you there's a lot of Jewish Zionists behind it too. In itself too, in my opinion, Hamas. You've heard it before. First, they're a political organization, and so is this Al Qaeda stuff too. Years ago, just listen to Maz Def, in More Mortal Technique. He said from 1989 to 1992, the government providing them with the stuff. So I mean, they're not religious. They say they're religious, but what it is it's fear taxes because eventually they use energy, the environment, and education to try to push through their one world agenda. There is no such thing, in my opinion, as an education crisis or an environmental crisis or an energy crisis, the price of gas. As you've seen it before, how they manipulate things. Clearly, what it is, it's distortion. It's all basically, a lot of it is speculation, but it's also to the government and special interest. I mean, look at Senator Dodd. I was looking at some news on MichaelSavage.com, he is accused of the mortgage thing, and then he's in denial about it. And then if you think of it, you can point to that and say, that's racist itself. How can you get a cheaper rate, and then we don't get a cheaper rate, basically. And also the comment that John McCain made recently. I'm going to talk about this too in a couple other videos. $1 for every man, woman, and child, basically. This $3 million prize levy. If that doesn't sound like modern-day slavery, I don't know what is. But what I was going to get to is I'm going to play the Don Imus comment, but then I'm going to relate it to Reverend Wright's remarks and why he can get away with it and nobody says anything about it, and why this really pisses me off, and how when Imus does it at the same time, then he gets in trouble for it. So I mean, it's a bunch of bullshit, and clearly, like I'm telling you, it's a battle of the racists and also religious and idealisms. But listen to this. I'm not a big fan of using the term racism, but basically when you talk about slavery, though, and $1 for every man and human being, like John McCain also said too, I mean, you can't win there too, because that's more slavery than this, because Imus was just kidding. So listen to this.
Defensive back Adam Pac-Man Jones, recently signed by the Cowboys. Here's a guy suspended all of 2007 following that shooting in a Vegas nightclub.
Well, stuff happens. You're in a nightclub, for God's sake. What do you think's going to happen in a nightclub? People are drinking and doing drugs.
Yeah.
There are women there, and the people have guns. So there, go ahead.
Well, he's been arrested 6 times.
Let me play that quote one more time, the first part of this.
You're in a nightclub, for God's sake.
Following that shooting in a Vegas
nightclub. Now listen to this
first
part.
Stuff happens. You're in a nightclub, for God's sake. What do you think's going to happen?
The sign of modern-day Babylon, too.
Drugs?
Yeah.
Drugs.
There are women there, and
women smoking
people have guns.
Guns.
So there, go ahead.
I'll sign the damn times, too.
He's been arrested 6 times.
Well, not repenting of their sins.
He's been drafted by Tennessee in 2005.
What color is he?
He's African-American.
Oh, well, okay, there you go. Okay. Now we know.
Well, he wants to drop his nickname, Pac-Man, because he says there's
of course,
too
the
much
media added it. They don't play the
negativity
second
tied
part.
to it. I mean, like, people aren't going to know who he is.
CNN and Fox should be impeached from this country.
Am I missing it? Is there some other context that...
So should Air America, too. That's where I got the clip from, but they should also be impeached from this country. Any organization that suppresses free speech and gives more power to the government, making it like Soviet Union, should be totally impeached from this country. It's just irate to me how they can report such things as they do, waste of time during the day. Even like the 17 girls, I mean, it's wrong at the same time, and, I think they knew what they were doing because they're girls, they get off the hook, and how they use our kids, too, and they exploit everything, the government. Just, we need, what America needs, let me take a swig of this, because I'm so pissed off and irate about this, so. What America really needs is some networks that'll speak up for free speech and stop letting care dictate the airwaves. I mean, look at Michael Savage. He's in a battle for free speech, That's what they're trying to do with the fairness doctrine. And I think, personally, this thing that happened today is an attempt to take away freedom of speech even more so in this country. Because I just heard about the fairness doctrine, and you're talking about the UN recently and energy, something on the radio, you know. And of course you'll never hear it on the big ways, but on the radio they won't let you talk about it. And that's what they do in the Soviet Union. So, and also they criticize people like James Dobson when Barack Obama was cutting down Christianity and the Bible and everything else too, you know. I saw a report, I'm going to get into more of this next video again like I'm talking to you about religions of the world, and it was even talking about how some Islam people too, you know, read the Bible and they go by the Bible and they believe in Jesus too. So see, there's sects from every religion. It's always been divided that way. And like how most of people, or 92% of people, are Christians, but only like, I think they said a small percentage, like 70%, think that God's is gonna return in like what's it called, as like basically the Antichrist form, while there's only 18% believed by the Scripture of the Word of God, which is the correct way. So very few people are probably going to be raptured. I think there's going to be a pre-tribulation rapture. I told you I'm 50-50 on the issue, but the way things are going now. I'm going to make a prediction though, the pre-tribulation rapture. I predict it's going to happen on June 21st of 2009. My reasoning is this: in the Bible it says that's when the peace treaty will be signed with Israel. And Israel, of course, became a nation again. We got recognized, you know, on the June 7th day it was officially recognized. But, you know, I was going to say, though, the reasoning is because at that point it would be 3.5 years until 2012, when I think Benjamin Crumb and the people working within the UN, I think the United States, as far as Bible prophecy goes, will be out of the equation by then. But unfortunately, because it's the way the Bible prophecy goes in Revelation. But I think personally that's when Benjamin Crumb, Margaret Bernigan, and all these people within the United Nations, and like Zimbabwe, who forced their nationalistic ideas and enslaved the people with inflation. That's what's coming to America now. They manipulate the markets and everything. I think that's when Benjamin Crumb and Margaret Bernigan and everybody else who's in politics, who knows about, and the Illuminati, the secret society, who knows about the Antichrist, is going to reveal himself. And I think the Antichrist myself is Maitreya, and that's going to happen on 2012, December 21st, and it's all tied in with the Mayan prophecies and stuff. So that's my take on that. Well, I'm going to continue this doom and gloom report because I'm really wound up. I'm going to play some of Reverend Wright's remarks next, and actually I'm going to keep this video going right now, but I'm going to play a couple of Reverend Wright's remarks. Yeah, he can get away with this. Listen to these short remarks.
Government gives in the drugs, builds bigger prisons, passes a three-strike law, and then wants us to sing God Bless America? No, no, no. Not God Bless America. God damn America. That's in the Bible for killing innocent people. God damn America for treating us citizens as less than humans.
And he gets away with this one too, the KKK.
And they will not only attack you if you try to point out what's going on in white America, you as a KKK.
Let me play that one.
And they will not only attack you if you try to point out what's going on in white America, you as a KKK.
Basically, the white man is enslaving you. Yeah, everybody's in this together. Look at us people who have to make $7.60 an hour. I mean, you know, this is even worse. This is more hateful, in my opinion, than what Don Imus said, because this guy's a minister, for God's sake. So listen to this too.
They live below the sea level. They live below the level of Clarence Colin and Condamnesia.
And then you have this one too.
We bombed Hiroshima, we bombed Nagasaki, and we nuked far more than the thousands in New York and the Pentagon, and we never batted an eye. We have supported state terrorism against the Palestinians and black South Africans, and now we are indignant because the stuff we have done overseas is now brought right back into our own front yard.
Christianity and Islam, this is a political organization. I think it resides. Anybody who's educated knows. Now I'm starting to sound like Michael Savage. Scary. I'm turning into him. You know, I listen to his show too much too at times. You know, I'm turning into him from listening to him in the past, basically. But you know, criticizing everything. But it's true what's going on. And you know, I had enough time to get this video, and I'm only gonna make it one video instead of two. But just tell me what you think personally. You know, I really believe that personally they use this because for certain issues, like, you know, I'm going to talk about in my next video too. I told you religion is going to be in my next one, but the thing I saw in the news report, but also the recent thing too with what's it called, the FISA wiretapping, and also I told you about Lieberman a few videos ago with wanting to remove suspected hypocrisy videos and stuff from the internet. You know, people who are conspiracy theories because of their ideals and stuff. Basically, kill free speech, and John McCain and Lieberman a lot, especially those two. He's Jewish. They're behind a lot of this too, also. So I'm urging people not to vote this election. Just tell me what you think overall of this incident. So I think Imus was just kidding. So. If you can put up with Amish, you have to put up with right, though. So, bye.